Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtadar Khan, your host, and uh, congratulations to everyone who are looking forward to hearing the news. Zohran Mamdani has won the elections, Alhamdulillah, of New York, and he is the first Muslim, first South Asian, first African American, or shall we say African, first Ugandan. Uh, Mayor of New York, is probably one of the youngest one. And even though the is 83% as of now that I'm seeing 83% of the voting has been completed, and result of that, Zohan Mamdani has won the mayoral election. Right now, I'm looking at it. He leads of the 83% of the votes that have been cast. Mamdani has got 50.5, which is very important because it doesn't really matter. He's beating both Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa, the Republican combined. So the two of them together have got 48.6 votes so far, and Zohran is at 50.5. Congratulations to him. This is a very big deal. And there's a lot of good news all around. I wanted to tell you that the Democrats are winning across. They won the governorship in Virginia. They have won the governorship in New Jersey, which was supposed to be close, but they have won by huge margin. Let me tell you what happened. Virginia is also important because the lieutenant governor of Virginia, Ghazala Hashmi, who has been on conversations on more than one occasion, is also a Hyderabadi, and now she has become the first Muslim lieutenant governor of Virginia. In fact, she is the first Muslim woman, first, I think, Indian American to hold a statewide position in the state of Virginia. So Abigail Spanberger, the gubernatorial candidate, got 1.645. 56% of the vote, and she beat Winsome Earl Sears by 43.5. So she's won by a margin of 13% of the margin of 13 points, and still the voting is not yet fully counted, but they have announced it, 86% of the vote. And that is, well, that was expected from the polling. And if you're looking at the polls earlier, the whole week she was leading by 10 to 15% of the vote. But if you look at the New Jersey governor's election race, this was supposed to be a bit closer because Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican, was running a great campaign. He was endorsed by several Democrats, and Mike Sherrill was in the polls just leading by one or two. In fact, the poll conducted by CNN yesterday said she was barely leading by 2 points. But right now, at 73% of the vote, she has a huge margin, a 13% margin. She's leading by more than 320,000 votes. And they have also called the race. Associate Press has already called it. So the Democrats are winning across the board. They have won both the governor's races, and they have already won the mayor's race with Mamdani. This is a resounding defeat for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been soundly defeated by these three candidates. As is, for those of you who have watched my show during the morning show, in which I made the point that this is a referendum on Donald Trump and his policies, his immigration policies, the manner in which he has been using ICE, his tariffs policies, the aggressiveness and the authoritarian manner in which his administration has been acting, not respecting the law, not respecting the constitution of this country. And so this is a repudiation clearly of Donald Trump, whose approval ratings are very, very low at the moment. And that is such an important thing. I will continue to make my comments and also read your questions and read your comments and be happy to answer them. If you want to ask questions in Hindi or English, just if you want my answer in Hindi or English, just say that in your comment, and I will be happy to respond to it in Hindi or Urdu, whatever language you prefer. But this is a huge, huge development. Mamdani winning New York. And imagine right now, Donald Trump must be deeply frustrated. He hates the mayor of New York, of London, Sadiq Khan, and he obviously hated Mamdani. Some of his tweets today were so horrible. He says that Mamdani is a proven Jew hater, and all Jews who will vote for Mamdani are stupid. I mean, that was Donald Trump's way of intervening in the campaign. He also threatened New Yorkers by saying that he will cut off all federal funding to New York City, which last year was $7.4 billion, about 6.5% of the city's budget. So Mamdani now is going to oversee close to 125 to 150 billion dollars. He is the mayor of the greatest city in the world, the most powerful city in the world, a city where there are tons and tons of billionaires. Clearly, the capital of capitalism now has a socialist mayor. This is one of the most interesting and ironic developments, needless to say. So to me, this is quite fascinating that Mamdani has won. Of course, from the polling, it was very clear. So there are a few things for us to keep in mind. That New York City is not like the rest of America. New York City is a very, very cosmopolitan place. They say that 50% of its residents were born outside the United States. In terms of those who are citizens and who can vote, nearly 25 to 30% of the voting population is foreigners. And so, with all the hatred that is being shown towards immigrants and to migrants and to foreigners, this is really a major development that Mamdani, who is himself an immigrant, is of Indian origin. His father is a Gujarati Muslim, Professor Mamdani, who actually contributed a chapter to one of my books. And his mother, of course, is a very famous producer director, Meera Nair, and they are essentially of Indian origin, Gujaratis, but from Uganda in Africa. And Mamdani himself was born in Africa. And so this is a huge, huge development. Let me check again at 85% of the poll. So this is so far 85% of the poll has been counted, and 1.9 million votes have been cast. And so Mamdani has won 172,000 votes. He's staying above the 50% mark, and his gap is increasing actually since I started doing this. The gap has been increasing. So this is absolutely fantastic news. So this should actually dampen Donald Trump's some of the aggressiveness with which he has been approaching, shall we say, some of the policies and issues. This should send a message that not everybody in America is liking what he's doing. He threatened to send ICE into New York City. So I think it'll be in January that Mamdani will become a mayor. So this is great. Mamdani's election. There's an interesting question here from Raja Babu. So Raja Babu, to me, the more interesting victory besides Mamdani is the win of Ghazala Hashmi, Dr. Ghazala Hashmi, who was a senator in Virginia. Now she has become the lieutenant governor of Virginia. I think she was born in Hyderabad. Her family is from Hyderabad. In fact, from my own neighborhood in Malakpet, Akbarbagh, our original neighborhood, and she's from there. She's become the first Muslim and first Indian woman to hold a nationwide seat. An Indian American Surya or Srinivas, I'm forgetting his name, also won. If you remember, a few months ago, he became the sixth Indian American to go to the Congress. So Virginia is a good state for Indians, I guess. So this is an important. There was another person called Musab Ali who was running for mayor of New Jersey, and I'm trying to see what the news is with Musab Ali. I don't know whether he won or not. He was in the second position. Musab Ali was running for mayor of Jersey City in New Jersey, and I'm not very sure whether he won that race or not. The last time I checked, he was running second, and we will know. Yeah, he's still running second. Uh, but there are other candidates who are running. But to me, these are the two very big wins. For Donald Trump, it is going to be a very strong message. This is clearly a referendum. Donald Trump has been invested in the mayoral election of New York from the moment that Mamdani won the primaries. So Mamdani beat Andrew Cuomo, who was in the Democratic primary, the former mayor, the former governor of New York. Uh, Andrew Cuomo is a very prominent New Yorker. He, like I said, he was a mayor of New York, but he was also governor of the state of New York. His father was a governor of the state of New York. His brother is a very famous CNN host, Chris Cuomo. And so Mamdani winning this is really, really important. राजा बाबू wants to know, हाँ राजा बाबू जो मैं आपको कहना चाह रहा था कि वर्जीनिया की जो लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर की पोजीशन है वो गजाला हाशमी नाम की एक इंडियन अमेरिकन ने जीती है। उनकी जो फैमिली है वो हैदराबाद से है इंडिया में, तेलंगाना में, एंड सो इट्स वेरी गुड न्यूज़। और वैसे गजाला हाशमी हमारे शो पे भी आ चुकी है कई बार, आप जाके देख सकते हैं। अगर आप इंडिया में, तो यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू सी, क्योंकि मोदी ने मेरा मेन चैनल ब्लॉक किया हुआ है। सो बट अगर आपके पास वीपीएन है तो उसके थ्रू आप मेरे मेन चैनल पे देख सकते हैं। शी इज़ वेरी वेरी गुड। आई थिंक वो अनकरीब शी विल आल्सो बी एटलीस्ट द गवर्नर ऑफ वर्जीनिया, तो नियर फ्यूचर में देयर इज डेफिनेटली good chances. Or this is a good development. It sort of pushes back against the rhetoric against immigration, the rhetoric against non-white, non shall we say Christian or Jewish Americans. This whole treatment as if you are not equal citizens. All of that has been kind of thrown back. Uh, okay, so there are a lot of so the people who opposed Mamdani were people who were not just Republicans but also Democrats, mainstream Democrats. For example, Schumer, who is the senator, the senior senator from New York, who is also the leader of the minority leader in the Senate. He's a Democrats' main leader in the U.S. Senate. And Schumer did not endorse Mamdani, and even Obama, who called him twice and gave him advice and had long conversations with him and congratulated him on his win, did not endorse him, because these guys have sold their souls to lobbies and to foreign countries, and they are more interested in advancing the interests of foreign countries than in caring about Americans themselves. So that is very interesting, that in spite of the fact that some very prominent Democrats did not endorse Mamdani, that is, for example, the two senators from New York, Cory Booker also declined, who is also a senator but from New Jersey, did not endorse him. Obama did not endorse him. Michelle did not. So it is very interesting. I don't recall Kamala Harris endorsing him. But I don't know. I think she wished him all the best or something like that. So all of these people have hedged their bets, just in case he won, then they can all say, "Oh, I called him and I congratulated him." And if he loses, they will say, "Oh, yeah, of course. How can you stand up to Israel and say that you will arrest Netanyahu and become the mayor of New York? Don't you know that Netanyahu is the super president of the United States? Even the U.S. president dare not agree with him." So those kind of things have happened, which is quite development. He's, I think, the biggest message here is the New Yorkers. the New Yorkers were able to look beyond identity politics, and they were able to look beyond all the hatred which both Democrats, some Democrats, and some most Republicans were throwing at Zohran Mamdani, calling him a jihadi, calling him a terrorist. Uh, Kumo actually went on a show and said that I'm afraid that if there was another 9/11 in New York, and if Zohran was the mayor, he would be cheering. Zohran has been on the foot walking the whole city. It is very, when you listen to him and you talk to him, listen to his interviews, like I've probably heard maybe 50 interviews of his on various televisions and podcasts, etc. It's very clear that Zohran is really loves his city very much. He does love New York. He knows New York very well. He knows New Yorkers very well. And New Yorkers of all faiths, all communities, all ethnicities, and all races are supporting him and are behind him. And that is why you're seeing such a remarkable performance by him. He is on the verge of reaching 1 million votes. And this election was also very special because the turnout was spectacular. Last year, the early voting was just about 1.2 or 1.5, like 150,000 votes. This time, the early voting was six times, nearly 750,000 people voted early. So the turnout is huge. That means people who are for Mamdani and people who were also against Mamdani came out in large. Lots of billionaires spend unlimited amount of money, millions and millions of dollars, because of Citizens United, a legal judgment made by the US Supreme Court, which allows corporations and companies to spend unlimited amount of money in elections. So a lot of billionaires have spent a lot of money against in trying to defeat Mamdani. In fact, the same people who gave money to Donald Trump, the same billionaires are gave money to Andrew Cuomo twice, uh, once in the primaries and then again here in this election. So in that sense, you could say this is a victory. This is a victory for Bernie Sanders, for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This is the future of the Democratic Party, the most exciting side of the Democratic Party, the side of the party which has ideas, which has energy, and most importantly, it has the youth on its side. All the people who voted for Kumo are 45 years plus, most of them. And everybody who is below 45, a huge bunch of them have voted for Mamdani. So this is basically the future of America voting for Mamdani and the past of America voting for, I don't know what, Israel, Kumo against Mamdani, I don't even know what the motivation for the anti-Mamdani vote was. Uh, and well, he just crossed 1 million in votes. The total polling is just about 2 million. He's at 50.3, and 88% of the votes are in. So I think by 10, 15, this whole thing, the counting, etc., should all be over, and the results will be very, very clear. Undoubtedly, wow, Zohran Mamdani, this is incredible news. It also sends message to a lot of young people who have been traumatized by the way the immigration has been targeting not just people who are here, uh, uh, shall we say, undocumented, but people who have been here legally. Even citizens have been arrested and locked up because they look brown. So in that sense, this is a terrific uh, here in the United States. I think the only people who seem to be upset here seems to be people who are from India. It's very sad for them that they cannot enjoy the victory of another South Asian, another Indian. But that is an interesting development. We are living in very difficult times. Several things are happening, even in this country, which is the richest country, and they say that $10 trillion worth of wealth has been added in the past few months in the United States, but a vast number of Americans, nearly 50% of Americans, are living hand to mouth. So affordability, or the cost of living in and having a decent life, has become very difficult across the country, but especially in large cities. For the young people who are growing up, many of them are indebted. to college debt. And because of college debt, and then the job market is not as good as it should be. So they're not getting good jobs, and then they can't even afford to buy a house. If they can't afford to buy a house, they can't start a family. So the quality of life of Americans, especially in the city of New York for sure, but across the country, is not where people would like it to be. Even though, yes, per capita income is $90,000, not everyone can live comfortably in $90,000 in New York. Uh, so 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 Mamdani basically, along with Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Cortez, they are hammering this whole idea that we are now living in two Americas. One America is an America that is run by rich people, oligarchs who are making lots and lots of money. For example, look at the owner of Oracle. He just made $100 billion overnight. His net worth went up by just $100 billion in the last 1 month. So there are people like that who are suddenly making, literally, Elon Musk, who also opposed Mamdani and was tweeting all kinds of rubbish to voters in New York. The man is going to become $500 billion net worth. His net worth will be more than many countries' GDP. So yes, the country is rich, is becoming richer, and but only some Americans are becoming rich. A large number of Americans are remaining poor, and 50% of this country's politicians have only one purpose, which is to cut taxes, cut taxes, cut taxes. And what they do by cutting taxes is reduce benefits for the poor. And as things become more and more expensive, and the governments are either collecting less money so they can provide less benefits, or the governments are borrowing money to provide benefits, and then the governments are in debt. So it has created this whole politics of the Republican Party, to like, the main agenda seems to be just uh, uh, to cut taxes. So that is a disaster. I don't know why somebody is texting me and it's making so much noise. Uh, so 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 that's an important thing. Uh, and What does it mean globally from a global geopolitics perspective? So we are living in an era where all across the West there is this rise of nativism. People are getting very upset about foreigners coming, and they're saying that, oh, the white people in Europe and in UK, in France, etc., their population is diminishing. The fertility rates of these countries have dropped below 1. You need to be at least at 2.1 in order to be able to reproduce your population. So the populations of natives, white people in most of the West countries are shrinking. And in order to maintain the welfare states, they are bringing in immigrants. And because of those immigrants, then there is a reaction like America first. Now everyone is using this first logic. And so the fact that the mayor of New York, Sadiq Khan, is Muslim of Pakistani origin. The mayor of New York now uh, is of Indian origin, another South Asian who's also a Muslim, sends a completely contrasting message. One, it will have a negative consequence for sure, which will confirm to people. The MAGA movement will say, oh my God, we really need to shut down migration. In fact, we should try to find ways in which we can actually denaturalize citizens already. There are people who are saying that we should take away Mamdani's citizenship and deport Mamdani because they didn't want him to win election. But they also realized that, look, Mamdani is winning election because he's just got more than 1 million votes uh, in the city of New York. City of New York is about 8.5 million people. So about 12% people have already voted for him, and he's leading by over 200,000 votes over Andrew Cuomo. I'm very surprised that Andrew Cuomo is staying over 40% in the vote. Uh, and uh, and so Donald Trump's tweets and his threats and his demand from Republicans that they vote for Curtis Sliwa, well, not vote for the Republican candidate, but vote for Cuomo, seems to have worked. because as you can see from the polling before the election, like yesterday in the CNN poll, the NBC poll, and others, the forecast was that Mamdani was at around 46%, 47%, and Kumo was at 30%, and Curtis Sliwa was at 15%. So Curtis Sliwa has been cut in half. So it is very clear that the Republicans have gone and voted for a former Democrat, the guy who actually ran in the Democratic primary. And as a result of that, he's instead of getting 30% of the vote, he's getting 40% of the vote. But he's still losing, and that's the good news. Uh, so the Democrats have clearly won 3 important races. There's another one in California called Prop 50. This is a referendum. I think the counting there has not started. It is still 7 o'clock there. I don't know when the polling there is going to end. And basically, it's a yes and no vote. They want to temporarily allow for redistricting of the congressional seats. So basically, it's called gerrymandering. What they do is they redesign the boundaries of a particular congressional seat to ensure that the Democrats will win, because Republicans are doing that in Texas and Ohio, I think North Carolina, where they are redesigning the constituencies of members of, and the goal seems to be to ensure that more Republicans win the election in midterm, and Donald Trump continues to control both the Senate and the House. But if Democrats are able to change that in California, then I think it'll be balanced. But what it is going to do is reduce the public's faith and trust in democracy and the democratic procedures, and that is not good news. But it is incredible to see what has happened, really. I mean, we were sure that Mamdani will win, but we were also afraid that there might be some kind of rigging or some kind of dirty tricks that the Republicans or Donald Trump or even the Democrats will pull. There were some dirty tricks played by the Democratic Party to ensure that Bernie Sanders did not become the Democratic nominee. So that is also some good news for me. So looking forward, the challenge for Mamdani now is going to be very interesting. Can he deliver on the promises? He can't do it himself. I was watching an interview of his with the New Yorker. You should watch it. It was very interesting, in which the issue of affordability, whether he can afford to do what he wants to do. So providing, there are 3 or 4 things that he's really focused on. One is ensuring that the rents do not go up. That's one thing that he can do. The second thing is that he wants to ensure that the buses are all free. Public transport becomes free, so that's $700 million is the estimate for that. That's where he wants to raise taxes. But the third thing, which is very important, is providing healthcare, providing all this free child care, etc. So the total bill, extra stuff that he's spending, is going to be around $7-8 billion that he will have to raise. The budget of the state of the city is over $125 billion, I think, going next year. And if Donald Trump cuts money, which will mean court battles, and I don't think he can cut funds because they go to specific grants. So, for example, there's federal grant that will go to the police. Is Donald Trump going to cut funding to the police after making so much criticism of Zohran and saying, "Oh, this guy is going to defund the police"? Is Donald Trump going to defund the police because New York City elected somebody who he didn't like? So I think there may be some grants that he might be able to cancel, and that is where Mamdani will have to go to courts and try to win them back. But if he can mobilize the city, and if he can expand his coalition, and it becomes clear to people that other Republican candidates who have seats in the Congress in New York are defeated in 2026 because of Donald Trump's cutting funding to the city of New York, then it will be a punishment enough for Donald Trump, or it might persuade him not to cut funding. This is in many ways a rejection of many of Donald Trump's policies, which are absolutely interesting to watch. So for the Democrats, it's a clean sweep of all the big seats today. And of course, this is not a midterm. This is not the main election, but they have now two governors who are Democrats. They overturned Virginia and they retained New Jersey. It seems that it's been like, I don't know when last time New Jersey had a governors from the same party for 3 terms in a row. Usually people come in, do 2 terms, and then there's a turnover. But here it seems that he's New Jersey, and the margin in New Jersey has come as a big surprise to me. I thought it would be much more closer, but as the counting gets closer and closer to 85%, they have announced it. So it's a 12, 13 point margin. I mean, it's incredible. In fact, the Mike Sherrill has won New Jersey with a bigger margin than Zohran is winning in New York. Zohran's margin is just 9%, but Sherrill won by 13% in New Jersey. And of course, the margin in Virginia was much stronger. So it's not, these races are not close at all. एडिटर शॉर्ट 67 भाई जोहरान ममदानी जीत गए हैं न्यूयॉर्क के वो मेयर बन गए हैं वो न्यूयॉर्क के पहले मेयर हैं जो मुसलमान हैं जो इंडिया से हैं साउथ एशियन हैं उनके ओरिजिन हैं ही वाज बोर्न इन युगांडा और उन्होंने ना सिर्फ उनके ओपोनेंट्स को हराया है एंड्रू कुमो जो इंडिपेंडेंट रन कर रहे थे और कर्टिस स्लीवा जो रिपब्लिकन थे लेकिन इस रेस तो बेसिकली ममदानी और डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के बीच में थी डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने बड़ी बड़ी धमकियां दी आज तो बहुत ही घटिया किस्म के ट्वीट्स भी उन्होंने किए हैं लेकिन उनको बुरी तरह से हरा दिया है और एक जो भारतवासियों के लिए और एक खुश खबरी ये है कि स्टेट ऑफ वर्जीनिया की जो लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर है वो गजाला हाशमी है वो हैदराबाद से उनका ताल्लुक है एंड सो दैट्स गुड न्यूज़ दो खुश खबरें हैं आपके लिए एडिटर जी and so Rah Guzar, welcome back. So there are lots of my friends who are logging in and wishing. So congratulations to all of you. Also, this is absolutely great news, and we will see what happens eventually. अभी उनकी speeches होंगी. I don't know whether Zohran is already giving the victory speech or is he going to wait. न्यूयॉर्क में काफ़ी लोग मैं जानता हूँ जो गए हैं न्यूयॉर्क को ममदानी विक्ट्री स्पीच अगर है तो मैं देख बताता हूँ व्हाट ही सेज वो ज़रूर कहेंगे कि दिस इज़ अ मैसेज टू न्यूयॉर्कर्स फ्रॉम न्यूयॉर्कर्स की तरफ से डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के लिए बहुत ज़ोहरान ममदानी की विक्ट्री स्पीच अब आने वाली है यहाँ पर आप लोग ब्लूमबर्ग टेलीविजन पे देख सकते हैं एंड आई विल आल्सो टेक अ लुक एट इट सो दिस इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग वो एक ब्रुकलिन में एक थिएटर में वो जमा हो रहे हैं वहाँ पे तकरीबन 3000 लोग मौजूद हैं सो दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली फैंटास्टिक मैं एक दो महीने पहले जो इंडिया में है फॉर दोज ऑफ यू वाचिंग फ्रॉम इंडिया आई हैड वॉच्ड अ शो ऑन ANI which is a big Asian news service or something like that with Smita Prakash and Abhijit Iyer and all of these people and they were saying oh he has absolutely no chance he might be very cute in the way he is doing this campaigning because he was using TikTok and he was using Instagram and he was using Hindi music he spoke in many languages said oh he's all very cute but he has absolutely no chance of winning and here look at him he's winning by a gigantic margin and so this is some fantastic news Mamdani Zohran Mamdani has won the race I find it absolutely it also increases our faith in democracy. It also increases our faith in the voters' wisdom that they were able to rise above racism and xenophobia and all the hatred that the Israeli lobby was throwing at him. and the Democrats and Republican politicians who were on the payroll of the Israeli lobby, people who were taking money either from billionaires who are supporters of Israel or from APAC itself. Uh, यस लोगन कॉपनी गोदी मीडिया में तो मातम होना ही चाहिए, शर्म से मरना चाहिए उनको. पहले तो they don't report properly. Their analysis is not there. Their analysis is motivated by hatred of religion and identity. So it is interesting to see this particular development. लेकिन ए वर्ड ऑफ कॉशन, मतलब एक वार्निंग के तौर पे आप लोग कर रखे कि पूरा अमेरिका न्यूयॉर्क की तरह नहीं है. मैं बार बार ये दोहरा रहा हूँ, न्यूयॉर्क में जो लोग हैं वो उसमें इमिग्रेंट्स बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. अब न्यूयॉर्क में मुसलमान की तादाद भी काफ़ी बढ़ गई है. कह रहे हैं कि मे बी शायद 500,000 से ज़्यादा मुसलमान, यानी 5 लाख से ज़्यादा मुसलमानों ने यहाँ पे वोट डाला होगा ममदानी को. even though some communities were not supporting Mamdani, black communities से support नहीं मिला उनको उतना ज़्यादा जितना मिलना चाहिए था. और हिंदू कम्युनिटी में सुन रहा था कि सिर्फ 60% हिंदू, 2.5% इंडियन ही कम्युनिटी है न्यूयॉर्क में. 2.5% यानी तकरीबन 1.5 लाख 2 लाख के करीब इंडियन हिंदूज हैं न्यूयॉर्क में. और उनमें से सिर्फ 60%, 60% ममदानी के साथ थे. 40% हिंदुत्व हैं जो उनके खिलाफ ना सिर्फ वोट नहीं डाल रहे हैं बट कैंपेन भी उनके खिलाफ की हैं, झूठी झूठी बातें निकाली हैं और बहुत ही घटिया किस्म की सोशल मीडिया पे रिपोर्टिंग ये वो. इनफैक्ट आज सारा दिन बहुत ही मतलब अजीब किस्म की ये चीज़ें हुई हैं, विच इज़ इंटरेस्टिंग टू वॉच. So, oh, hello, Nilu. Thank you for watching. We have a very celebrity in our house today. Nilu Vyas Thomas is a बहुत ही मशहूर जर्नलिस्ट है इंडिया की. She has on many channels, but उनका चैनल जाके ज़रूर देखें, जनगण मन 24/7. जनगण मन 24/7 उनका चैनल है यूट्यूब पे, उसे जाकर सब्सक्राइब करें. And so thank you for coming to the channel. So this is a big development. और पिछले 90 साल में, in the last 90 years, सिर्फ 5 बार ऐसा हुआ है that Democrats have won the New Jersey governor, Virginia governor and the mayor of New York City at the same time. और वो पांचों बार, all the 5 times, subsequent midterm elections में Democrats have won the midterm elections, which means that they won the house. House में बहुत ही कम margin है इस वक्त. So I think 5 seats will change hands. और एक अगर हाउस चले गया तो डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प का basically he'll become a lame duck president. इसका मतलब ये है कि he will not be able to control and get any of his policies. कांग्रेस में बजट भी वो शायद नहीं पास कर सकेंगे in the next 2 years the way he wants it. So 2026 का जो midterm elections है, now that's become very exciting. Democrats are not that very popular, लेकिन enthusiasm है लोगों में to come out there and vote against Donald Trump and the Republican Party. So we will see what happens going forward. और जहाँ तक कि न्यूयॉर्क का सवाल है, it's going to be a very tough ride for Mamdani थोड़े in the beginning before he learns how to get his job done. मैं सुना कि 17,000 गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स वेकेंट है न्यूयॉर्क सिटी में. कैन यू इमेजिन दिस? 17,000 जॉब्स आर अनफिल्ड in the city of New York. So even if you want to get things done, how are you going to get those things done without staffing? And so it's going to be very challenging, and because people are going to expect him to deliver, he's going to have a huge challenge. Muzammil, walaikum salam to you too. Thank you, Nilu, for watching. So this is a huge development. Also, it sends a very strong message to other people that let's not allow Donald Trump to bully us. We can push back. This also strengthens democracy in America. The faith in democracy is increased because, see, Zohran didn't just beat his opponent. He beat the federal government. He beat Donald Trump. He beat the MAGA movement, and he beat the billionaires who are supporting the MAGA movement, and he beat the established Democrats, the leadership of the Democrats who did not support him, and he beat the billionaires who also support the Democrats. So it's not just conservative billionaires who are funding him, then even the liberal billionaires who usually support Israel were against him. And the most incredible thing that he has done is he's repeatedly said that he has repeatedly said, used the word genocide in the context of Gaza and said Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. And yet he got about 40% of the Jewish vote. So we will see what is happening. I don't understand the geography of New York very much, but I can see that in Jamaica, which is a very lot of Desis in that area. He got 62% of the vote. And across the board, he has been doing very well. In Manhattan, he got 52% of the vote. A lot of rich people live in Manhattan in the various places. It is in Staten Island where the fear was that he might lose. So in Staten Island, he's still getting 40. There are some places where Cuomo was winning, but yeah, so except for Staten Island, I think everywhere else, Brooklyn is the heart of New York and the most densest population, and Mamdani has done well there. As of now, I can tell you that 90% of the vote has been counted. And of the 90% of the vote, Mamdani is at 50.3 and Andrew Cuomo is at 41.6. So he's still lagging behind by 8.4, 8.3% of the vote. Even though many of the Republicans have not voted for the Republican candidate and they have voted for Andrew Cuomo, you can see that clearly from the fact that Curtis Sliwa is getting only 7% of the vote. That means that 7% of the people, there are roughly 25% of New Yorkers are Republicans and 75% are Democrats. So in the 2020 election, presidential election, Biden got about 76% of the vote. And in 2024, Kamala Harris got 65 or 66% of the vote. But Donald Trump got 30% of the vote, which was seen as something very great. हाँ केविन, यू आर राइट केविन, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं आप कि वो उन्होंने बहुत कोशिशें की हैं, या ख़ासतौर से सोशल मीडिया पे तो बहुत नफ़रत फैलाई और झूठे-झूठे बातें भी बहुत किए हैं। उसके बावजूद वो हार गए हैं। सो दिस इज़ वेरी वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट। जब ऋषि सुनाक बर्तानिया के प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने थे तो इतना इंडिया में सेलिब्रेशन हुआ था कि अरे समबडी फ्रॉम इंडियन ओरिजिन, हालांकि ऋषि सुनाक भी अफ्रीका से थे, टांजानिया से, वो भी शायद युगांडा या टांजानिया से थे। एक्चुअली उनकी जो जो पंजाब के जिस गांव से शायद ऋषि सुनाक आते हैं वो अब पाकिस्तान में है। सो एनीवे, तो ऋषि सुनाक भी अफ्रीका से आए थे और उन्होंने जीता, तो इंडिया में काफ़ी सेलिब्रेशन हुए थे। अब ममदानी, जो मैं सुबह में आपको याद होगा कहा था कि ही इज़ ऑल्सो ए गुजराती, भारत में भी गुजराती जीत रहे हैं, यहाँ पर भी गुजराती जीत रहे हैं, तो उसके बावजूद देयर आर मेनी इंडियंस। लेकिन ये ना भूलिए कि बहुत सारे इंडियंस ने भी उनको सपोर्ट किया, बहुत कैंपेन किया। बूढ़े लोग, बच्चे, यंग पीपल और ऑल विथ हिम। इवन अमंग द इंडियंस, जो यंगर इंडियंस है वो ममदानी के साथ है। 60-70% जो ओल्डर हैं वो बेसिकली हिंदुत्व से जैसे लगे हुए हैं मोदी के वक्त। दे वेर कैंपेनिंग अगेंस्ट हिम एंड दे डिड नॉट वोट फॉर हिम। ऑफ कोर्स, और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि इवन अमंग द जूइश सपोर्टर्स, क्योंकि डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने आज सुबह में ट्वीट किया था कि ही इज अ जू हेटर एंड जूज हु वोट फॉर हिम आर स्टूपिड, इस तरह की बातें कर रहे थे डोनाल्ड ट्रंप। और उसके बावजूद यू कैन सी कि द वोट इज नॉट टर्न आउट। और ये इलेक्शन इसलिए भी इम्पोर्टेंट है कि बहुत सारे लोगों ने वोट डाले हैं। यानी लास्ट टाइम जब इलेक्शन हुआ था तो न्यूयॉर्क में सिर्फ 1.5 मैं अभी चेक करके बताता हूँ मिलियन वोट्स पड़े थे। अब जो है सो तकरीबन उसका डबल वोट होने वाला है। सो how many people voted in the previous mayoral elections in New York. ये ज़रा मैं चेक करके बताता हूँ, क्योंकि जो अर्ली वोटिंग हुई थी वो तो सिर्फ 150,000 हुई थी, इस बार 750,000 हुई। हाँ, तो इन मोस्ट रिसेंट न्यूयॉर्क इलेक्शन 2021 में 1.149 यानी 1,150,000 people had voted. Only 23.39, 24% of the registered voters. Abhi to Mamdani is getting close to that number. He's already got 1 million votes. 10 lakh vote already इनको मिल चुके हैं. So that gives you an idea कि there was so much energy in this election. इस election में बहुत energy थी. एक के ममदानी को हराने के लिए, क्योंकि वो इसराइल के खिलाफ बोल रहे थे, और फिर वो रिच लोगों ने इस डर से कि वो टैक्सेस बढ़ा देंगे बहुत पैसे खर्च किए, मिलियंस एंड मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स, एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स बहुत किए इनके खिलाफ। और फिर जो इनकी एनर्जी थी, पूरे रिलीजियस लीडर्स न्यूयॉर्क के ममदानी के साथ हैं। कई रैबाइज, कई इमाम्स तो ऑब्वियसली, बट हिंदू टेम्पल्स में भी देखिए आप, दिवाली में ममदानी के आप ट्विटर पे जाके देखें, देयर वर लॉट्स ऑफ पीपल। जब वो मंदिरों में गए इंडिया जो न्यूयॉर्क में है, सो लॉट ऑफ हिंदूज केम आउट टू सपोर्ट टू हिम। सो बेसिकली इट्स अ बिग डिवर्स कोलिशन कह सकते हैं that has supported Mamdani in this election, and which is good news. और अब तो गेम यहाँ से भी शुरू होगा, which is going to be very interesting. और वो है कि will he deliver on his promises? And that is going to be interesting because पूरी की पूरी कोशिश की जाएगी by the Republicans and the Donald Trump administration कि जितनी रुकावटें हो सके उतनी रुकावटें उनके रास्ते में डालें ताकि he does not win the mayorship again. Because ममदानी अमेरिका में पैदा नहीं हुए, तो उनकी जो लिमिट है पॉलिटिशियंस की सेनेट तक है, मतलब ही कैन बिकम ए यूएस सेनेटर, उससे ऊपर वो नहीं जा सकते हैं। सो मुझे लगता है कि दिस इज द बिगिनिंग ऑफ ए न्यू एरा, एज लॉन्ग एज ही डजंट डू एनीथिंग स्टूपिड। जैसा एंड्रू कुमो ने 13 लड़कियों को, 13 औरतों के साथ मोलेस्टेशन के उनके खिलाफ एलिगेशंस है, केसेस हैं, करप्शन के केसेस हैं, इस तरह का चीज़ें अगर ना करें तो ही इज़ अ वेरी टैलेंटेड politician. Or because he's so young, he's just 34, so he has a long future going ahead. So he can change the Democratic Party. He can also change and define America post Trump. ट्रम्प के बाद कैसा अमेरिका होगा वो आज आपको नजर आ गया। आई थिंक डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प इज द लास्ट हुरा ऑफ अमेरिका की नैरो विजन है, बिकॉज डेमोग्राफिक्स चेंज होते रहे बड़ी तेज़ी से, हालांकि ये कितना भी कोशिश करें थिंग्स आर चेंजिंग, और मजबूरी भी है इनको, दे विल हैव टू चेंज, वरना द स्टेट विल बिकम पोरर एंड पोरर। ऑलरेडी इस मुल्क में जो है सो जैसा मैं कह रहा हूँ, 2 अमेरिका हो गए हैं। एक अमेरिका जिसकी पर कैपिटा इनकम 1.5 लाख से ज़्यादा है, और एक अमेरिका जिसकी पर कैपिटा इनकम 20,000 से कम है। सो दैट इज़ एक गरीब अमेरिका और एक बहुत अमीर अमेरिका है, तो बीच में अब कुछ रहा नहीं है। और डेमोक्रेसी के लिए मिडिल क्लास इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, अगर मिडिल क्लास ना हो तो डेमोक्रेसी नहीं रहती। सो from that point of view, people like Bernie Sanders, Zohran Mamdani, Andrew Ocasio-Cortez, तो ये जो चीज़ें हैं इन लोगों के बहुत AOC, दे आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पीपल के अमेरिका की पॉलिटिक्स में बैलेंस लेकर आए। इस वक्त तो डेमोक्रेट्स तो पूरी तरह से वैसे ही हो गए थे जैसे रिपब्लिकन्स थे, मतलब दे आर ऑल डीलिंग विद कॉर्पोरेट। देख रहा हूँ मैं कैलिफोर्निया में काउंटिंग शुरू हुई या नहीं, नहीं अभी शुरू नहीं, तो कैलिफोर्निया का भी अब दैट इज द ओनली की रेस बाकी है। अगर कैलिफोर्निया की रेस का रिजल्ट निकल जाता है एंड मतलब वो जो रेफरेंडम है Proposition 50 अगर वो पास हो जाता है तो it will be a clean sweep for the Democrats. और उससे मैसेज जाए, देखिए क्या होता है, इफ डेमोक्रेट्स विन एवरीथिंग इन दिस रेस तो एंथुसियाज्म बढ़ जाता है डेमोक्रेट्स में, यानी वोटर टर्नआउट ज़्यादा हो जाता है, और रिपब्लिकन्स में एंथुसियाज्म थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा। हालांकि रिपब्लिकन्स आर मोर, क्या क्या कहते हैं अमेरिका में, दे आर मोर कंसिस्टेंट वोटर्स देन डेमोक्रेट्स। डेमोक्रेट्स के उसमें यंग बच्चे भी होते हैं, समटाइम्स दे कम समटाइम्स दे डोंट। फॉर एग्जांपल 2008 में यंग वोटर्स आके ओबामा को जिता दिए थे, बट इन 2010 दे डिडंट कम, दे डिडंट वोट, और फिर ओबामा लॉस्ट मिड टर्म, और दे लॉस्ट द हाउस, और फिर इसके बाद ओबामा कुड नॉट पास एनी बिल बिकॉज 2010 में voter turnout among Democrats was very low because they say, oh, ab jeet gaye, Obama jeet gaya, everything will be great, and so they didn't show up. Talking about Obama, there's a very interesting question that I want to raise with you, and I would love to see if any of you have. Uh, yes, Chaudhry, that's a very good point. Over 60% of Indians voted against Modi. Still, he's prime minister because of the coalition government. So it is the failure of the opposition to put together a coalition that will win. So if Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar were not sold out by or bought out by BJP, then BJP would not have been in power right now. So the politics there is far worse. The amount of corruption there is unbelievable. So anyway, what I wanted to say was when Obama was elected in 2008, everybody said this is the end of racism in America. America has done the most incredible thing. They have elected a black president. It is like India having a Muslim prime minister. They have had Muslim presidents, but they've not had a Muslim prime minister. They have had a minority prime minister, that was Manmohan Singh for 10 years. He's probably one of the most successful Indian prime ministers. But the fact that Obama was elected and a black person became president of the United States, even before a woman became president of the United States, oh, there was all this chatter that now this is the end of racism. But unfortunately, I don't think the election of Obama ended racism. In fact, the election of Obama increased racism in this country. And so now the question is, the election of Mamdani, Zohran Mamdani, as mayor of New York, will it reduce Islamophobia? Will it reduce anti-foreign sentiment, xenophobia? Will it reduce anti-immigration immigrant sentiment, or will it increase that? That is the question. Is Zohran Mamdani going to be somebody who will reduce hatred of foreigners, of people who are black and brown, or will it actually increase in other parts of the country? And I think that is the key question. But you must remember this, that the same kind of questions were asked and the same kind of fears were pronounced when Sadiq Khan became mayor of New York, of London. And Sadiq Khan continues to win. It's not that he's fully defeated, you know. So that is important. If there are any very specific questions, I'll be happy to answer. But I want to check how many times Sadiq Khan has won the election. Twice, I think. One mayor of New London. So I'm looking at it. He has won it 3 times. So Sadiq Khan won the election in 2016, 2021, and 2024. So it was like maybe the first time you could say it was a fluke, but that's not a fluke. Yes, that's also important, Kevin. You make a very good point. He's staying above the 50% mark, and I think as we get closer and closer to the 100% vote, then so far only 89% of the vote has announced, and Mamdani is 50.4%, and and 2,030,000 votes have been cast so far. And I'm sure I'm following it through the New York Times website. So it's very interesting if you go by neighborhood side. And So he has lost only two neighborhoods. He lost a neighborhood called Midwood. I don't know what that means. He's lost Upper East Side, which is a very famous part of New York. Mamdani got only 1 out of 3 votes in the Upper East Side, but Upper West Side, he's won more than 50% of the vote. All neighborhoods except the ones that he lost, he's way, way above 50%. That's so interesting. So he lost Midwood, he's lost Flushing. I don't know New York that well to be able to make sense. But the New York Times website is giving very good data. It's giving you data district by district, neighborhood by neighborhood, uh, and uh, and this is going to increase. The key is how well he performs and how much of an impact he will have on the Democratic Party. One thing is very clear now that the young people who Democrats need to win 2026, they are going to use the language that Mamdani uses. They're not going to look like or talk like these horrible, 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 horrible people like Chuck Schumer of New York. To me, he is Satan incarnate. The quicker he is dispensed of, quicker. I hope Alexandria Cortez challenges him in the next election and they get rid of Chuck Schumer. He can go and retire in whichever foreign country that he is more loyal to. So, but the language that Zohran Mamdani and Bernie Sanders have been using about talking about affordability, talking about people. It seems that 50% of Americans are now living check to check, paycheck to paycheck, which means that they have no savings. And that is not a good scenario to be in. Believe me, when I was a PhD student, uh, my stipend was $1,000 per month, and that was only for 8 months. So I could not work. In the summer, sometimes I would get a class to teach. So we had to live on $8,000 for the whole year. And the apartment's rent was $500. So basically, $500 would go just for the rent, and the rest of the $500 was to maintain the car, for the food, and everything. And believe me, that was the most scariest part for us. Even then, I used to save enough money in the bank, like 1,000 something. I used to keep that. If I died, my wife should be able to buy a ticket and go to India, because she was not allowed to work in the United States at that time, because she was on F2 visa, the dependent of an international student. So in that poverty that I lived for 5, 6 years while I was doing my PhD, I still had enough money to buy one international ticket. We never touched that money. And now, 20 years later, when the value of that has gone up much, much more, it is shocking to me that 50% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank account at the moment. So that is the challenge that Zohran Mamdani and others are trying to deal with. He was saying that it is such a shame that we are sending hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign countries to fight wars, but we don't have $10 billion to provide free buses, free trains, and free childcare to families. Childcare is absolutely important. If you have childcare, free childcare, then you can go work. Then you become a two-income families. But right now, the childcare is so expensive, especially in New York, that one of the members of the family stays at home. I was recently in Hyderabad a few months ago in India, where public transportation is free for women. So it is called Rahul Gandhi's guarantee or something like that. So the Telangana government has made buses and everything free. So even those who are servants who work in homes, they are able to take the bus free and go to better neighborhoods and work in richer neighborhoods and make more money. So it costs a lot of money. Apparently, about 400 crores is what the free transportation in Hyderabad costs. So this is not new ideas that he has come up with. It's a shame, and there are many parts, even in the U.S., where public transport is free. Even in Europe, some places public transportation is free. So I think for a rich country like the United States, um, bringing free transportation for everybody, not just in the city of New York, just like schools are free. Apparently, in New York, they spend $42,000 per student in the high school in New York. So that's the biggest expense of the city, and then the next one I think is security and the police force. So it's going to be interesting to see how Mamdani governs. He's very young; he's 34. And so for him to be able to assert authority will be a major challenge. He can inspire people, but now can he command people? That is the next question. He can inspire people, but can he command people is the question. And he's going to face a lot more resistance to his ideas, not just from the Republicans who want to see him fail, but also from the Democrats who also don't want his brand of politics to succeed. So it's going to be a big challenge for Mamdani to be a good mayor, an effective and successful mayor in the city of New York. And I really wish him all the best for him to do well. He's going to stay above 50%. It's quite clear now. 90% of the votes have been cast. He's at 1,024,000. He's clearly 200,000 ahead of. So 10% of the vote that is left. So there are only 200,000 votes left to be counted. So even if Mamdani gets 10%, 20% of the vote going forward, he would still win this. That's why they have already announced it. The counting in California has not gone on. Let me see if there's any question. There is a question. Varisal Balsania, I just said the total vote right now, 90% of the vote has been counted. Of the 90% of the vote, Mamdani has won 50.3%. Andrew Cuomo is at 41%. So Andrew Cuomo is about 8.5% behind him, and Sliwa is at 7%. He's done. He has absolutely no chance. And if going forward, I think if Kumo wins all the votes that are to be counted, I don't think he's going to become the mayor. So it's foregone. They have already announced that Zohan Mamdani has won. So that is an important situation. There's a question here from Muzammil. If the Democrats are winning across, will they have a collective power to power? Oh, no, Muhammad. So the elections that are taking place now, the key elections are state level elections. So the governor of Virginia has been won by a Democrat. Her name is Annabelle. What's her name? Virginia governor. Her name is Abigail Spanberger. And actually, her assistant, lieutenant governor, is Ghazala Hashmi, a Muslim woman originally from Hyderabad. So they will control what happens in the state of Virginia. They're not going to. There's no connection with what Donald Trump is doing. He's at the federal level. This is just at the state level. So this election is for mayor of New York, governor of New Jersey, governor of Virginia, and there's a referendum in California that is taking place. So these are the four important. There are other small ones. For example, Jersey City in New Jersey has a mayoral election where a Muslim candidate of Pakistani origin, Musab Ali, came second. So he's a new rising star. There was another election in Michigan. I don't know what has happened there. So there was a Muslim candidate in Michigan. There's a Muslim candidate of Somali origin running in Minnesota. So those are not available here. Maybe I can pull up and see what's happening in Minnesota. So in Minnesota's election, Umar Fateh is losing by 20,000 votes. So it's a primary. Minneapolis mayor he's not winning at the moment. And yeah, so it is over. So Umar Fateh has lost in Minneapolis. So that Muslim candidate has not won. So in Texas, there was a small election. for a congressional seat, and only 52% of the vote has counted. This is the Democratic primaries going on there, I think. And so we will see what is happening in the other states. I'm not keeping much of those are not very important seats, but Virginia is very important because it's a state right next to Washington D.C. And the Attorney General is also a Democrat, has won. Attorney General is usually like the main legal person, law minister, you could say. And then Ghazala Hashmi has got 55% of the vote as vice for lieutenant governor. She beat a guy called John Reed, and she beat him by 11%. Oh, wow. So that is so interesting that she got 55% of the vote, and the governor got 57% of the vote. So this is really fantastic news in the sense that, but it's going to create a problem also for the Democratic Party because, like Abigail, the Virginia, uh, the governor for Virginia, her politics is very centrist. She's very centrist. Abigail Spanberger is very centrist. She's more like Republican than a Democrat. And then you have Zohran Mamdani, who's so far away. He's far left compared to these people. So the spectrum, political spectrum, has become very wide. Sir, winning conference कब कर रहे हैं Zohran bhai? Please tell me any news. अरे Zohran has won the election. Boss. Zohran is now the mayor of New York. Zohran Mamdani, the first Indian, first Gujarati, first Muslim, has become the mayor of New York. Or what is the news? One question is, तो वो तो जवाब दे दिया सर, मेयर बनने से क्या अमेरिका की राजनीति में कुछ बदलाव आएगा? ओ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. अभी तक दिस इज द बेस्ट क्वेश्चन. सो हाउ डज इट मैटर? इट्स लाइक सेइंग कि भाई इंडिया में बीजेपी ने पूरा इलेक्शन जीत गया तो तेलंगाना में कांग्रेस जीत के क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? आई मीन लाइक दैट्स वन क्वेश्चन, राइट? So there are some advantages. So if you have an alternative agenda, you can implement it in that place and say, look, we did this in New York. It can work in Los Angeles. It can work in Chicago. It can work in Washington, D.C. But more importantly, it's the message. Because Donald Trump's politics, डोनाल्ड ट्रंप की जो इस वक्त पॉलिटिक्स है वो एंटी इमिग्रेशन है, एंटी नॉन वाइट लोग, एंटी मुस्लिम. अब मैगा तो एंटी हिंदू भी हो गया है, हालांकि हिंदुओं ने तो पूजा भी की थी उनके लिए आपके बाहर ट्रंप सरकार वगैरह वगैरह. लेकिन क्योंकि ममदानी जीते हैं ये इलेक्शन, वो मुसलमान भी है, इमिग्रेंट भी हैं, बाहर से आए हैं, यंग भी हैं, ही सेंडिंग ए मैसेज के अमेरिका में हजारों लाखों 2 मिलियन यानी अभी तक 20 लाख वोट मिल गए हैं ममदानी को कि न्यूयॉर्क शहर में 20 लाख से ज़्यादा 10,25,000 ऐसे लोग हैं जो ममदानी की लीडरशिप में रहना चाहते हैं. सो इट्स अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग मैसेज. हालांकि डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने इतनी धमकियां दी, डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने इतने बड़े बड़े बातें की. सो द मैसेज इज बेसिकली एफ यू डोनाल्ड ट्रंप. ये मैसेज न्यूयॉर्क से डोनाल्ड ट्रंप, और डोनाल्ड ट्रंप खुद है न्यूयॉर्क के, सो दैट इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग. मैं तो इसको कंपेयर करता हूँ कि भारत में जो है सो क्या नाम है, राम मंदिर बनाने के बाद अयोध्या की सीट बीजेपी ने हार गई थी 2024 में. गुड फ्राइडे. Thank you very much for your gift. Would you be as excited if it was Ramaswamy, not Mamdani? That's our issue. We do not believe in your belief. The books by Abbasids, by all common sense. I don't know what that means, the books by Abbasids. I don't know, but what is your question? Would you be as excited if it was Ramaswamy? I don't like Ramaswamy personally. I find he's a jerk, in my opinion. He thinks he's white and he's getting kicked. And so if you saw recently in Turning Point USA, he was giving an address and one guy stood up and asked him the question, if you're not a Christian, why should we vote for you? And then and then the MAGA crowd has now turned against even J.D. Vance's wife, who is a Hindu, and J.D. Vance said, "Oh, I hope she'll become a Christian," and so he's wishing and praying that she can be converted back, converted to Christianity. I'm not worried about kids like that, but there are others. Like I love somebody like Ro Khanna, who is not a Muslim. So Ro Khanna is important person, and I will support Ro Khanna. And so that is something which is very critical to me. There are others. Even Radha Krishnamurti in Chicago is not very bad. Uh, and so it's not just about uh, Good Friday. It's not just about religion. It is about the individual himself. So for me, I would be just as excited if Ro Khanna became president of the United States. And I was in fact, in the beginning, I was also supporting Kamala Harris. But not after she said that that there was nothing about Biden that she disagreed with, and that to me was not very exciting or good news. So thank you anyway for your gift. Any other interesting question, Arvind? Uh, 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 I think Indians are more obsessed about Pakistan than they are about India. So there's a lot of people here from India who are asking questions about Pakistan. I think Pakistan is their benchmark. They live by Pakistan as a benchmark. Every day they think of Pakistan. It's kind of weird. I find it quite strange. Uh, Good Friday, look at your name and then see the things that you're saying about religion. Your name is also a religious festival, isn't it? Who will predict presidential candidates from Democratic Party against the Oh, this is a good question. So the leading candidate clearly is uh, uh, Newsom, the governor of California. He is trying his best to get ahead of everybody else. Kamala Harris recently announced that she's going to run again, that she's not done yet, but I don't think she will stand a chance anymore. She missed her chance, and I think that is over as far as she's concerned. But going forward, uh, he's the strongest candidate right now, Newsom, and I don't know. It'll be Newsom versus J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a very strong candidate, and it seems that in terms of registration in the last 1 year, Republicans are doing better than Democrats in registering new people. So the Democrats are suffering from an image problem. Their leadership is not very promising. Biden, I don't know, he's not well and he's out of it. Obama is not that popular anymore. Nobody cares about him. Even Democrats don't care about Obama. Look what he did. He did not endorse Mamdani, but he called Mamdani. Why did you call Mamdani if you're not going to endorse him? So this kind of hedging, standing in the middle, not standing for something, that is very disappointing. So people don't like that kind of politics anymore. Uh, and so the Democrats, if they don't change their image, I mean, they might do well in the midterm, not because of their ideas, but because people are sick and tired of Donald Trump and what Trump is doing. And if the economy begins to suffer because of the tariffs and because of some of the policies that Trump is implementing, then I think we are going to see something very, shall we say, revolutionary, that without liking anybody from the Democratic Party, they might still vote for Democratic Party. But for the presidential, you have to have charisma and you have to have ideas. Uh, I don't know. I have not liked Newsom's politics in the past, but we'll see what will happen. Thank you for watching, Arvind Chauhan. And so there are I guess no more questions, and we've been going for about an hour. So congratulations to everybody. Let me sum up. Zohran Mamdani is the first Muslim mayor of New York. He's also of South Asian origin. He has beaten not just the Republican Party, but he has also beaten the Democratic establishment who opposed him, did not support him. He has beaten all the billionaires who spend millions and millions of dollars to try and defeat him. And he beat Donald Trump, who tried his best to make sure that he did not become the mayor of New York. That is a big achievement, I think, in my opinion. It is great news for America. The American politics are going to be entirely different going forward. And so please, and those of you who are in India, please do watch. You will see me on many different channels tomorrow talking about Zohran Mamdani's election. Also, last week I had an article in the Indian Express. And take a look at that. Just go to Indian Express website and look in the opinion section. You will see my article there. Please read that article. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you very much for watching Conversations. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, press the bell icon, and share this video with the rest of your friends and your network. And once again, congratulations to Zohran Mamdani, Mayor of New York.